The PGA Tour just walked into a firestorm that could tear the entire season apart, and Rory McIlroy is standing at the center of it holding a match. What happened at Riviera wasn't just controversial. It was explosive, career-threatening, and the way Rory just handled it has players, officials, and sponsors asking the same terrifying question. Is the sport's biggest star about to blow up everything we thought we knew about golf's integrity? What did Rory actually witness that has him threatening formal action? Why are tour officials in emergency meetings trying to contain the damage? And how did one tournament victory turn into the most dangerous moment the PGA Tour has faced in years? Let's be brutally clear about what just happened at the Genesis Invitational, because the surface story and the real story are completely different. Jacob Bridgman, a relatively unknown player, came into Sunday at Riviera Country Club with a 6-shot lead and somehow held on to win his first PGA Tour title by a single stroke over Rory McIlroy and Kurt Kitayama. On paper, that's a dream breakthrough story. Young player overcomes pressure, survives a late charge from legends, claims his first victory on one of golf's most iconic stages. That should be the headline. That should be the narrative everyone's celebrating. But instead, the golf world is in absolute chaos. Because according to multiple sources, including respected golf journalist Dan Rappaport, Rory McIlroy told people close to him that he witnessed multiple rule violations by Bridgman during the tournament. Not minor infractions, not accidental mistakes, deliberate rule violations that potentially affected the outcome. And Rory isn't just complaining privately. He's reportedly preparing to formally present his concerns to the PGA Tour for official review and investigation. Let that sink in for a second. Rory McIlroy, one of the most respected voices in professional golf, a player known for integrity and sportsmanship, is essentially accusing another player of cheating. That word hasn't been used officially yet, but that's what rule violations with intent means. And if Rory's willing to go on record and trigger a formal investigation, it means he saw something he can't ignore or excuse. The specific allegations are devastating and detailed. First, Rory claims that Bridgman deliberately improved his lie during round 2 by pressing his club into the turf near his ball with excessive force multiple times before making his stroke. Under Rule 8.1 of the Rules of Golf, you cannot deliberately improve conditions affecting your shot. That includes your lie, your stance, or your swing area. If intent is established, that's a 2-stroke penalty per breach. 2 strokes. Bridgman won by 1. Do the math. The second allegation is even more surgical and damning. Rory claims that during round 3, Bridgman dropped his ball marginally outside the defined relief area, potentially gaining a slightly better angle. Or lie. We're talking millimeters here, but at this level, millimeters are everything. Well, that's the difference between a clean swing and a flyer lie. That's the difference between making birdie and scrambling for par. Relief procedures are extremely specific in professional golf, and even minimal deviation, if proven intentional, results in penalties that could alter tournament outcomes. If you're shocked by these accusations, smash that like button and subscribe, because this scandal is about to get even more explosive. Here's why this situation is so dangerous for the PGA Tour beyond just one tournament result. If the Tour investigates and finds violations, they have to assess penalties retroactively. That means Jacob Bridgman's first PGA Tour victory could be stripped away. The leaderboard would change, prize money would be redistributed, FedEx Cup points would be adjusted. A young player's breakthrough moment, celebrated by thousands and broadcast globally, would become a scandal that defines his entire career. But if the Tour investigates and finds nothing, if they clear Bridgman completely, then Rory McIlroy looks like a sore loser who couldn't handle getting beat and tried to take down a young player through allegations he couldn't prove. That destroys Rory's reputation as one of golf's most respected ambassadors and creates a toxic precedent where every close finish gets challenged with accusations and investigations. The PGA Tour is absolutely trapped. They can't ignore Rory's concerns because he's too prominent and the allegations are too specific, but they also can't rush to judgment without concrete evidence because they'd be destroying a player's career based on accusations. And every second they delay making a decision, the speculation and controversy grows exponentially. Behind closed doors, tour officials are reportedly in emergency meetings trying to figure out how to handle this without creating permanent damage. Multiple sources describe the mood inside tour headquarters as panicked and desperate. They're reviewing broadcast footage frame by frame, analyzing shot-link data, consulting with rules officials, and trying to determine whether there's any concrete evidence to support Rory's claims. But here's what makes this situation even more complicated and potentially explosive. Modern golf technology means every moment is captured in ultra-high definition from multiple angles. If Rory's allegations have any validity, the evidence will exist somewhere in thousands of hours of footage. But if the tour finds that evidence and assesses penalties, they're admitting their real-time rules monitoring to failed completely. They're saying violations happened on camera, under their watch, and nobody caught them until after the tournament ended. That's a credibility crisis that could have massive implications for sponsor confidence and television partnerships. Companies pay millions to associate with the PGA Tour's brand of integrity and fair competition. If tournaments can be won through rule violations that officials miss in real time and only get caught when a competitor raises concerns days later, what does that say about the tour's ability to police itself? Players are already choosing sides, and the locker room is fracturing in real time. Some veterans are defending Rory, saying if he saw something, he's obligated to report it regardless of how it looks. Others are furious with Rory, saying you don't destroy a young player's breakthrough moment with unproven allegations after losing by one shot. The divide is brutal, personal, and potentially permanent. Justin Thomas reportedly told teammates that Rory's handling of this was disappointing and set a dangerous precedent where every close loss could be challenged with accusations. Jordan Spieth was more diplomatic but acknowledged the situation was incredibly uncomfortable for everyone involved. The tour's most prominent players are being forced to pick sides publicly, and their responses will define relationships and alliances for years. Social media has absolutely exploded with takes from every corner of the golf world. Some fans are defending Rory as a guardian of the game's integrity, saying rule violations need to be called out regardless of circumstances. Others are destroying Rory as a bitter loser who couldn't handle getting beaten by an unknown player and chose to attack rather than accept defeat gracefully. The discourse is toxic, divisive, and getting worse by the hour. What makes this even more emotionally devastating is what it does to Jacob Bridgman personally. This should be the greatest week of his life. First PGA Tour victory. Life-changing money, career security. Instead, he's watching his achievement get questioned and challenged before he's even had time to celebrate. Whether the allegations prove true or false, his win will forever have an asterisk in people's minds. That's brutal and potentially career-defining. The coming days will determine everything. If the PGA Tour finds clear evidence of violations and assesses penalties, Rory becomes the hero who protected the game's integrity even when it was uncomfortable. Bridgman becomes golf's cautionary tale about the consequences of pushing boundaries, and every player on tour will know they're being watched more closely than ever before. But if the tour finds nothing and clears Bridgman completely, Rory's reputation takes permanent damage. He becomes the star who couldn't handle losing and tried to tear down a young player through baseless accusations. And the precedent gets set that challenging results after the fact is acceptable behavior that will poison competitive relationships forever. The PGA Tour is in massive trouble, not because of what happened at Riviera necessarily, but because of how they handle what comes next. There's no clean exit from this situation. Someone's career and reputation will be damaged permanently, regardless of the investigation's outcome. And the entire golf world is watching, waiting, and choosing sides in a controversy that could reshape professional golf's culture for a generation. Rory McIlroy just lit a fuse that nobody knows how to